Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing another fragrance review. And the fragrance we will be reviewing today is Creed's Aberdeen Lavender. Marvellous. That is right, my friends. Once again, I have returned to you with another fragrance review. And this is on a fragrance that is very unusual. It's unusual in that it's not one of the usual Creed fragrances, you know? I suppose it's an unusual Creed. But this one is not from the normal signature line like Himalaya, Royal Oud, Green Irish Tweed, all of those. This is from the Aqua Originale line. Was there a vetiver geranium in this line? I think so. There was a iris tuberose. There was an Asian green tea. There was a Cedra Blanc. I can't remember any of the other ones, sorry. But this is the one that I liked the most. So what, and I eventually bought it, of course. So what we will do is we will follow my tried and tested review matrix, where I will tell you the notes. I will tell you which notes stand out the most to me. And then I will just discuss the fragrance as and how I see fit. So, the notes are lemon, bergamot, rosemary and artemisia at the top, tuberose, lily, lavender and rose in the middle, leather, vetiver and patchouli in the base. Don't know how much this used to retail for, but it wasn't cheap. I think they were like 180 quid, but I got mine for like 100 on discounters when discounters used to have good discounts until the brands actually got a hold of them. And put a stop to it. The notes I get mostly are rosemary, lavender, vetiver, and a little bit of leather. The rest of the notes not as much, although there are little hints and flicks, especially like little bits of tuberose, and I mean little bits because it's a little bit salty anyway. This is my scent of the day, and as you can see, I have put a huge dent in this bottle. That not just today. Obviously, I've worn this over time. I haven't worn all of this today, you know. But I do feel as though I am in a place now where I can justifiably talk about this fragrance, you know, where I can justify talking about my experience and what I think of it. I was in the shops and I was smelling this line. This was a long time ago now. This is when this was still at retail. This is long discontinued as a fragrance. I don't know if the line's discontinued because you never see it out on the shelves at Creed. I imagine it is because it's never there, but I just know this one's like gone, you know. Especially in this bottle. Maybe they've brought it back in another bottle. I don't know. But this line doesn't seem to be available anymore to the best of my knowledge. When I first spray this on, I am greeted with this kind of rosemary, bergamot, familiar fougere feel, but it's a bit more powdery without becoming granular. It's a bit more soft and fluffy. This is a Aqua Originale, so it's an original water, sort of. I'm sure it means something different in French or Italian, but it's to me, this is, and we know a lot of creeds are based on other perfumes. To me, this is Creed's version of Le Troisième Homme by Caron. This has that ambery fougere type thing that I went through a massive phase of wearing last year. This time last year, March, April, May, I went through a huge phase of wearing Le Troisième Homme, Aberdeen Lavender, Mar Liberté, Prada Amber Pour Homme. These round lavender, warm, soapy, fresh perfumes which are absolutely beautiful. And this is absolutely beautiful. I love this fragrance. I really do. It was made by Julien Rasquinet. As we know, it was certainly not made by Olivia Creed. And when it opens with that kind of green, herbal, slightly pointed vibe from the bergamot. Slightly almost minty kind of thing going on from this kind of green rosemary artemisia, but it's made sharp by the bergamot and maybe a bit of the lemon as well. I don't detect lemon as such, but I detect that kind of almost sourness, to just give it that bit of cut, that bit of balance against what becomes the heart and soul of the fragrance, which is this huge, warm, fuzzy lavender. The lavender in this fragrance is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's not the usual type of lavender I like. I like my lavenders a bit smoother, but this one is balanced perfectly. This is the perfume that brought Julien Rasquinet to my attention. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. I wish he'd stuck along these lines and not gone towards the amberwood dark side, but I haven't smelled anything new from what he's making at the minute, because he left the house that he was making all the amberwood stuff for, and he's at a different place now. So hopefully he can spread his wings a bit. But the mid of this fragrance is a lavender which is kind of put up on a pedestal by the two white florals. Can you believe? The white florals add feeling rather than an actual distinctive smell to this. There's a saltiness from the tuberose, and there's a lily which also provides this kind of link to the rosemary and the artemisia through its green, stemmy waxiness. It's not like a shitty lily that you can get. Sometimes they can become very like white florals. They're not as bad as like indolic jasmines and stuff like that, but they can become quite appalling to my nose. In this, they provide more texture and they fill out the lavender, which makes it feel as though it's much more sophisticated than just like a lavender, like a straight lavender fragrance, using other florals to make the lavender seem much more intelligent than it would be by itself. They're good wingmen. It takes that aspect from Troisième Homme by Caron, which is also a sensational fragrance, which I will get round to reviewing at some point. I don't know why, but I'm hesitant to do reviews. I always think I'm not going to do it properly. Even doing this, I'm getting like, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, are you doing this as well as you need to? Am I doing this fragrance justice? But we'll keep going. as the fragrance continues to dry down, the lavender never truly goes away. It is the signature of the fragrance. The leather is very soft. It's not like, you're not going to smell leather. You're not going to smell patchouli as a note either. You're going to get the feel of them. You're going to get the heft, like that kind of muscle, the strength, that props the lavender up in the same way that the rosemary and the bergamot kind of introduce the fragrance, and the lily and the tuberose are with the lavender to make it look good. The patchouli and the leather back it up. They're the muscle. They provide power and might to the fragrance. I have lavender by L'Occitane. This is an eau de cologne. It lasts for about 5 minutes. So, and you can get this for 60 quid. It's 300 mils. But this is lavender in perfumer's alcohol, essentially, and it's very. You can tell when a perfume has been. You can tell a perfumer's skill, because Lavande by L'Occitane is very one or two dimensional. Aberdeen Lavender is a 3-dimensional fragrance. There's a lot of things going on there, and it's a worthwhile journey. It's worthwhile from the first spray to the last syllable of the dry down. It is, excuse me, it is both fresh and warm, the same as Troisième Homme. It is both smooth and rough. It's got a little bit of grit to it, a little bit of granular nature. And it's extremely interesting. You can still find bottles of this on eBay and such, and these are not heavily cloned. So if you want to try and find it for yourself, I would highly recommend that you do so. That is it for this review, friends. Thank you very much.